Hey, so this is like my third or fourth time trying to do this, right? Because I realized that the video is getting too long. Because it's so much to unpack with this song. So Kendrick Lamar dropped the Heart Part Five. Heart Part Five. It goes into three different elements of perspective, and even in the intro, this I said Nipsey. Kendrick Lamar, he talks about perspective. Um, from that we all walks of life, we see things differently, and Kendrick, as he in his mid 30s now, he's see that more than ever. But each verse is broken down in three different cultures, right? First one is LA gang culture. uh, you know, uh, doing the mission, running up on people, taking people's lives, and you fall victim based on wherever the car turns, and then that second half of that verse, it goes into, or the tail end of that verse, it goes more into the victim's family. Like us as a people, we have to do better when it comes to burying our dead. Growing up in the city, coming from Los Angeles, I've seen this too many times. Um, as in, okay, we have to bury the dead, and we don't have money to do so. So we come up with GoFundMe's, car washes, food drives, just to come up with the funds, a couple $1,000 to bury the people that we love, right? To get into the second verse is more of the culture of us as a people in totality, as in the people that we call our friends and that we have to be worried for and watch out for, and the people that we hurt, and the friends we're trying to make, and etc. And then the third verse, I say the first quarter of it, he goes into he goes into how we can elevate ourselves better, and what we have, our heroes of our generation, what we have done or what we need to do to make it better for the next generation. And the last 75% of the verse, he goes into something phenomenal when he, which I'm getting to in a second, with from the POV of Nipsey Hussle, which him and Nip was pretty close and pretty tight, right? So now let's go into the art form of this video. The art form of it, like I said, you got one, two, and three, right? The three verses, and I see it from three different cultures. It's more of two, but the first verse is more of the culture of LA street stuff, and this is the POV from Kendrick Lamar. This is his perspective of what he sees of his culture, what he grew up with, and whatnot, right? And then the second verse, that's when we go into the face swap, the deep fakes of we bump into OJ Simpson, uh, Kanye West, Justice Smollett, and Will Smith. And each of these individuals played a massive, um, a massive uh, uh, time of events of our lives. First, starting off with OJ Simpson back in '94 when he was on trial with the murder of his wife and whatnot, right? And which goes into Kanye, which because at first I was trying to figure out like what's the parallel, but then I remembered, can't the I forgot his freaking name, but Kim's dad, uh, the lawyer that he was on the case defending OJ Simpson during that time, which goes and blends into Kanye West. And then the Kanye West part is I low key want to know if when did Kendrick write this verse, because as soon as it switched to so as soon as it switched to Kanye, it goes into like him being bipolar, and friends is checking his pockets. You got to be worried, watch out for. And so it's like, okay, is this talking about the extortion thing? What's going on with the sex tape and all this other wild stuff that Whack 100 is trying to put on Kanye? I really just want to know when he wrote this verse. And then it gets into Jesse, what happened to him, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when he said that he was jumped in Chicago, which is also crazy because Kanye's from Chicago and everything else, and it gets into that, right? And I still haven't broke down why he's in there exactly, but it's just that, well, because in those lines when he does switch to Jesse, he talking about revolution and changing how things are, and that's what Jesse was speaking on before we found out that he was a fraud, and he lied about the event of him getting jumped in Chicago, and then I'm not sure that he already had this line in before the events of what happened at the not the Grammys at the Oscars uh, when Chris Rock and Will Smith situation, because he gets soon as he gets to the line of saying hurt people, he switches to Will, which is powerful in itself because we all know that uh, Will's legacy has been in and been dragged through the mud for like the past couple of years because of his old ladies, which he's been sharing too much with the public, which I'm not cool with. Right, I'm not a fan of it. Our business is our business, baby girls. No need for us to blast it out to the world. That's how I look at it, and whatnot. So then we get into the third verse, the phenomenal verse, the beautiful verse. And by the way, uh, when he's breaking this down, he is playing every mannerism as these individuals. Like, uh, yes, he's bopping and stuff with he's as OJ, but when he gets to Kanye mannerism, if he was Kanye, and then mannerism if he was Nipsey, and mannerism as if he was Will Smith, because it's literally these individuals if they were um, actually rapping these bars and whatnot. So we get into the third verse, we get into Kobe. Me being an LA native, born and raised in Los Angeles, South Central to be exact, born at Centinela Hospital, January 29th, 1993, grew up in the city. These two individuals I idolized, and I cried like a baby when they both passed away, when they both died tragically. Um, I was in, in Tennessee when Nipsey died. I remember that vividly. I can do a separate video on Nip and Kobe on their own. I'm not gonna go into complete detail. And I was in Iraq when Kobe died. And I cried like a baby. I remember that day like it was yesterday. But when he gets into he taps into Nipsey, and he's speaking to Black Sam and his daughters, and Imani and I forgot his son name, and I feel like he's also talking to he's talking to Lauren, he's talking to his mom, as Nipsey, but primarily talking to Black Sam like, hey, big bro, it's on you. You have to do this for us. You have to, what I did while I was on this earth, you have to keep pushing that message. You got to pushing that message forward. You got to stay on your grind and make this marathon continue. The marathon continues. Because I'm going on me, you can stop. And doing Black Sam, he got this hustle, and he was motivated from Black Sam when they was kids. So, and this makes me like definitely with recent events with all this clubhouse stuff with Whack 100 talking about Nip and stuff, man, wild bogus cornball stuff, disrespecting the Keyway Christ, disrespecting Nip, but phenomenal record, phenomenal song. I can't wait to May 13th, and how it begins, it lets me know that this is gonna be a phenomenal freaking album. I said how it begins with how he come out with the first single, if you count this as a single, because the Heart Part 4 for Damn, I didn't look at that as a single. I just looked at that as a Lucy, like, hey, this is for the streets. This is for the people, Man, phenomenal. It's beautiful. I'm excited. I can't wait. I'm calling it right now. Album of the year. Last time I was excited for an album was CLB, and it was underwhelming for me. It was a few great tracks on CLB, but it was fine, whatever. J. Cole been doing the same, but this right here, man, this is food for the freaking soul, and I'm all for it. Hey, Kendrick Lamar, The Heart Part 5, go check it out. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll drop a link in the comment section. I'm out.